Hello, hello, Internet. What do we got here? A package. I cut my address off there. Been a little while since we did a little unboxing. Top 5 wrapping inside. Oh, so this is from Emerson. I think he was trying to have some fun with me. I think he was a little sad one of his spinners didn't make it in the top 10. Half JK. Let's see if we can get in there. Oh boy, he isn't kidding. Trying to do this quick as we can, trying to find the fastest way to it. Should have cut all the way across there. Yeah, let's cut all the way across. So, he's a good guy, I like him. Don't chat with him too much. But if chatted a little bit, he seems like a good guy, and I do like his spinners, so. But he really did go nuts on this. So this actually might not be good footage, so but maybe we'll just go with it anyway. Yeah, he's not playing around. Let's go in there. Oh, Ben is gonna love that. I know how much you love the tape residue on your knives. Making me work for this one. All right, is that enough to kind of crack into it? Hey! All right. Look at all the gunk on it. Let's crack it open, see what we got inside. I have an idea of what's in here. All right. Oh, would you look at that? Oh, that is lovely. That is lovely. Those are good buttons too. So I don't have my scale with me. I'm planning on doing just kind of the unboxing, and then I want to play around with it a little bit before I do my full first look. So it'll be somewhere between an unboxing, a first look, and a quick review. 22mm buttons. So we'll come back in with a scale and we'll weigh it and we'll do spin times and all that stuff. But I really just wanted to take a look at the box with you guys because I had a feeling he went a little silly with it. So yeah, it looks nice. Look at those finger grooves, man. Masterfully machined. I said it about their other stuff. I'll say it about this at a glance. This just looks lovely, lovely, lovely. Love the designs that they do over here or over there. And that is fast and responsive. That's good. That's probably, we'll see how accurate I am. I'm thinking somewhere in the, sometimes I get it right, sometimes I'm way off, 85, 90 gram range. So we're going to play around with this and we will be back. I'm going to clean off my knife. Maybe we'll do like some sort of portal fade. And here we are. We are back. So it's only been a couple hours. So this is, like I was saying, somewhere between a unboxing and a first look. But I've just been spinning this nonstop for, hang on, let me look at my watch. For you guys, it was just a quick crossfade there. But for me, boy, probably three and a half hours. Almost spinning this thing straight. So for two reasons. One, I wanted to get this review in tonight. Make it a little easier for me tomorrow. But two, I really actually didn't really want to put this thing down. So where do we go from here? So we had a little fun unwrapping it. And I mentioned as I was just kind of watching what I recorded, this just reminded me of a Baby Bell cheese. I don't know if anybody eats those still or is familiar with them, but the little wax. Anyway, I just thought that was funny. So I spun this guy, gave it some spin times kind of real quick, and then I spun it for a while, and then I just cleaned it and gave it some new spin times right before recording this. So let's just weigh this real quick, put that in perspective for spin times here, since I actually haven't weighed it yet. Can you see that? You guys can. 89 grams. Who was just about bang on the money with their guess? Yeehaw. We'll take that. So, 89 grams, really good fidgeting weight. So Spin time, just to get that out of the way here, we got about 5 minutes and 45 seconds on a vertical spin out of the box, and about 4 minutes 30 seconds on a table spin. And those are reasonable enough spin times. We cleaned it on a vertical spin, got 9 minutes and 15 seconds, and on a table spin, 6 minutes and 10 seconds. Maybe a little bit more on the table spin, and I can tell it's definitely got some more to go, so there's definitely room to for the spin times to improve. But would you just take a look at that? Would you look at it? Probably knew what to do if you looked at it. Anyway, let's take these buttons off again here real quick. One thing I want to show on the buttons, these are fantastic buttons, but just while I'm thinking of it, I think the only criticism I have on these buttons is the little set screw that's in here was pretty shallow. I didn't realize it, but it had like 2 threads sticking out, so I rolled it back out, put a little Loctite in there. So we got that in there. So, but these are like just really solid buttons. So the steps give a pretty decent flat little dish in the middle, but then the steps really ramp up. Now on the inside, almost like sort of on like the triad, like this very last lip here is, I don't want to say sharp. You can feel it just a little bit. It's not quite as smooth as the rest of them, so I think that's kind of what makes it stand out. It's not really sharp enough to grab skin or anything like that, but you can feel it a little bit. And you actually feel that a bit on some of these edges too. Like the machining is so acute. The angles are so acute and so exact. And I've shown it on them before. Like if you're really rubbing your finger out and you're feeling it, you feel like, man, that's going to be a problem, but it's not at all while spinning it. And I kind of love when things kind of play with that line a little bit. Like it's just to the point where it's as much as you can possibly get away with without actually being an issue. So let's look at it spin again, but it looks so good. Really got a nice thing going on with this pattern and stuff. So anytime, I mean, this is kind of like the machine finish in the industry, in my opinion. So anytime you see, and it's funny, I don't know how much you actually really can, draw the conclusion and say like, oh, this is, a ripoff of the Portal just because of, the machine finish that it has, because so many things out there have machine finish these days, but this is the one you think of. It's kind of the analogy I want to make is sort of like Modern Warfare versus Battlefield. Battlefield, at least early on in the video game days, Battlefield always had to try to compare and tell you how it was better than Modern Warfare, and Modern Warfare just had to tell you it was Modern Warfare, right? So the Portal is it's the originator. Maybe it's not the originator with machine finish, but it's definitely the one you think of when you think machine finish, right? You see a Geometrics, you see a Trimetrics, you see a Zenduo Evo with that machine finish, and you just go, oh, that reminds me of the Portal, right? Because it's sort of like the standard, and with good reason. I mean, it's done so well. So fidgeting wise, how is this thing? So really, really extremely fidgetable. So good spin times. It feels like it just wants to spin forever. It's easy to kick it up. These buttons are, being 22 millimeter buttons, are big and give plenty of grip, but they're not too deep, but got really good steps here. A good kind of flat spot in the middle. Kind of reminds me of, it pretty much is exactly to a degree like giant Grave Raven buttons, which are also perfect on that form. So really digging the buttons on this. Really digging these like 2-fingered pulls I'm doing a lot lately. Where I'm using 2 fingers and the arms are big enough to do that. Really, really smooth on the outside. This feels like really nice. Actually, I've never really found myself doing this with other spinners. And with as much time as I've had with spinners, I feel like that is something specific to this guy. I'm going to have to try with other spinners, but I'm really enjoying doing this. Like gentle 2-handed spins. I've never really found that to be like all that satisfying, but I was kind of walking around with this outside real quick this afternoon after unboxing it. I was just spinning it like this. And for whatever reason, that was extremely satisfying. And you guys know how I feel about slow fidgeting. If that gentle fidgeting feels good, we've got ourselves a good spinner. We got ourselves something that is here to compete. So. And I know, it's only a couple hours in, so it's nowhere near close enough to really call like top 10 spinner, but I know he really wants to know. I know, Emerson, you want to know, is this a top 10 spinner? I don't want to give any spoilers out, and again, we're not there yet, but and this isn't even going to be like a shootout video or anything like that, but I feel like this satisfies a lot of what I get from the Trithrax, but does it in a way that I appreciate more. I mentioned a little bit in the Portal review, and I've mentioned in other reviews since then, these arms are like mirrors, but just machined. You know, they've got this excellent machine, but they feel smooth, like polished smooth, right? And you can see there's really good, there's a really good like reflection in there. But in this Tri form factor, that's not an issue. I don't know if it's just the distribution of mass, but there isn't an issue that I found yet that I found with, you know, the Portal, or like you saw me talking like the Wusa Doubleheader Junior, where the face isn't slippery. The design of the Portal arms, like this arm right here, for me the Tri is the perfect spinner for that form factor. You can really grab all these chamfers wonderfully, but even this smooth flat surface isn't as much of an issue on this as I found it on the bar version of this. So really appreciate that. Really feels nice. Pulls good, flicks good. Just any way you wanna manhandle it. I feel like I was just about to say something there too and lost it. You ever have that? You ever record a YouTube video and then after it's over, you're like, oh, dang it, there was something I was going to say. And then, well, it never gets out there. So I try to give you guys all my thoughts, 100% of my thoughts. But let's just look at it for a second here. Sparkly, just looks good. Look at the way, like, you know, obviously it's machined and intended to be this way, but the way the arms just kind of, that final chamfer almost looks like that same pattern and kind of disappears into the buttons. So some spinners, you know, all spinners are obviously spinning around the buttons, but some of them just give you that effect of just something floating in between the buttons that you're holding. And something, you know, I don't know if it's that final chamfer that kind of helps do that in certain lights, right? Because you get that in the right light and it just looks like sort of another extension of, you know, this machine pattern that we've got going on there. But obviously it's a nice chamfer. So I don't know, that's one of the things you appreciate with these. So I should say this is the stainless steel version. They go for about $160 in the stainless steel, which if you guys were following from home was the same as what they were offering that Trimetrics in when they had it. And, you know, I don't want to say anything really, I don't really want to talk about that spinner too much here. I want this one to stand up on its own, but I mean, this is where I would be looking if you're thinking about picking either one of those two up. Nothing against that other one, but I think it's just a little too heavy in the way those arms are set up. This is a better version, essentially, of what that was trying to do. I like the feeling of something like this with that dedicated bearing, with that, you know, press fit or glued bearing. I haven't tried to pop it out, so I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure in the Portal it was glued. I definitely glued it putting it back in. And I'm assuming this one is glued, but it might be press fit. But there's something about that feel with a spinner like this, and it's a little thinner. It's just, I think it's a better fidgeting form factor for something like that. So they do it in, what does he do it in? He does it in, I keep saying they, it's really just him as far as I'm aware, but I really don't know. But anyway, Random Fabrications, they do it in the machine finish like this, which I think is really the way you want to go, but you guys know my feeling on that sort of stuff. But they do it in a media blasted as well, and in titanium with machine finishes and media blasted. I feel like there's another finish, maybe a brushed, I'm not sure. But he's pretty good. You reach out to him when you're working on something like this. I know he doesn't have a problem trying to make sure you get exactly what you want. So I think, for example, on his site, he listed that he still has some one-drop bearings. So if you'd prefer this, it is a hybrid ceramic that's in here, if I didn't mention. But if you'd prefer it with a one-drop, you know, just mention that in the comments in the cart and everything like that. So he likes to troll. He likes to have a good time. He likes to give people hell. He likes to call people on their bullshit, and I like that about him. Seems like a legit dude. So I know he likes to give me a lot of crap, so, and that's fine, I can take it. I'll cry, you know, when I turn off my phone at night before I go to sleep, thinking about all the mean things he said to me. How could you do this to me? But just keep making good spinners like this, and you do what you want. Did we say everything we wanted to say? I know, looking at this, when I factor in the 3-minute unboxing and change in this 11-minute video, we're going on 15 minutes, which is pretty much long enough. But go on and get yourself some. They are still in stock. I don't know how many he's got in stock. This was mainly funded. He did a Indiegogo for this version of it. And yeah, I don't know how many he's got in stock, but they're in stock right now. So, and I think once those sell out, he's going to be looking at doing another run of the regular portals. So if you're thinking about this and aren't sure, definitely get one so that you can help move things along so we can start doing some of the portals. Oh yeah, let's look at this again. I showed this in the last one, but this is something that's really, when at really low speeds, watch the way the light goes around the outside there. Like off those facets. So nice. I also didn't show you that it's pretty much perfectly balanced. It's off a tiny bit, but the bearing seems so loose it really wants to just let it go because I just gave it a good clean, but you're not seeing really any fast. There's one arm that's a little heavier, but it's not that bad. So, and again, with as clean as this bearing is right now, it wants to spin, but when you hold it here, we're just about dead smooth. I can get the slightest little bit of flutter, maybe the very slightest, faintest, but it's all fine. It's all good. Yeah. Oh yeah, and you remember that? It does it a little bit. If you remember my portal video, you get this really cool sound when you slow it down on your fingertip. You get a little bit. Not quite as good as I was getting it on the portal, but it's kind of fun. Anywho, I know some of you guys like the long videos, so hopefully you enjoyed this. Just look at it. Sorry, I mean, I'm as I'm recording this video, I'm also obviously watching this, and I'm enjoying looking at it, so I don't really want to, I mean, I guess I can just stop recording and I can still look at it, but I'm just enthralled by it, digging it. So the question remains, will it be in the top 10? I don't know what I'm going to do in my next top 10. I've gotten a handful of new spinners that might start to shake things up, but I don't know if I've gotten quite enough or enough of a shake up where I want to do another one. So I guess that's a little bit of a spoiler. Whenever I do a top 10, it's going to need to shake things up enough. So you'll know that the order's shifted around a little bit when that happens. So I have an idea of where this would land. Where it would land? Does that mean it would land in the top 10? You'll have to stay tuned, Internet. Kisses. Oh, and I bumped my camera right as we're going out. Did I show that really close? Let's show that real close. Right before we leave. Just look how good it is. Like, excellent. I mean, you guys are getting a real up close look if you stuck around this long and are watching it. Like, look how good and consistent that machine finishes. That is not easy to get that sort of consistency. Look at anything else out there with a machine finish and look for that sort of consistency. You're not going to find it. You probably will. Maybe I'm talking just a little bit too much shit, but I just want to point out how nice it is to get something that consistent. And I did, you know what that is. I hate to say it. I bumped it in the sink when I was cleaning it. So that's not on him, that's on me. I think there's one on another arm here somewhere. I don't know if it's really enough to see. It's on one of these little corners. Anyway, I don't know what it is about me and portals bumping them in the sink. I just got a bad habit of doing that. I don't know why. Anyway, kisses, Internet.